Hagen putter, and this is the Jones putter on my right. Both have, as you can see, have offset and a lot.
How great was Walter Hagen, really? Before Tiger Woods wore red on Sundays and before Jack Nicklaus owned Augusta, golf had a champion who partied until sunrise and still won the next day. A man who turned professional golf from a hobby for rich gentlemen into a global profession. A golfer who lost the sport's most valuable trophy in the back of a taxi and then just kept winning to cover it up. Walter Hagen didn't just play golf. He invented the life every modern golfer dreams of living. In the 1920s, golf belonged to aristocrats. Professionals were treated like servants. They changed their shoes in parking lots and ate lunch outside while club members dined indoors. Hagen looked at this system and decided to destroy it. He showed up in chauffeur-driven limousines wearing silk shirts and handmade shoes. He threw parties until dawn and tipped caddies more than most players won in tournaments. If you're loving this story so far, hit the hype button and show some love to golf's original king. Hagen lived by a simple rule. I never wanted to be a millionaire, he said. I just wanted to live like one. And he did. He became the first athlete in any sport to earn $1 million in career income. Prize money was tiny in his era. The real money came from exhibition matches. Hagen played over 2,500 exhibitions worldwide between 1914 and 1941. He charged $1 per ticket and people paid it. They came to see the Hague arrive in style, play with flair, and leave with their money. His lifestyle was calculated chaos. While competitors practiced at dawn and obsessed over technique, Hagen rolled into hotels at sunrise wearing a tuxedo, fresh from a night out. Opponents expected him to collapse. Instead, he would arrive at the first tee smelling of champagne, stripe a perfect drive down the middle, and shoot a course record. This wasn't just partying. It was psychological warfare. Watching Hagen win while appearing not to care destroyed the morale of every golfer who practiced religiously and still lost. But the lifestyle was only half the story. The numbers prove Hagen's greatness was real. He won 11 major championships. Only Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods have more. That places him in the holy trinity of golf's all-time champions. But context matters. The Masters didn't exist until 1934 when Hagen was over 40 and past his prime. He had fewer chances at majors than modern players. Despite this, his strike rate was staggering. He won the U.S. Open twice, in 1914 and 1919. He became the first native-born American to win the British Open in 1922. He added 3 more Open championship titles in 1924, 1928, and 1929. But his true dominance showed in the PGA Championship. Between 1921 and 1927, Hagen won 5 PGA titles. 4 of them came consecutively from 1924 to 1927. To achieve that streak, he won 22 consecutive matches over 4 years. Think about that number. Match play is golf's most volatile format. One bad hole can shift momentum. A hot opponent can end your day regardless of your skill. For Hagen to navigate 4 separate fields of the world's best professionals without a single defeat defies statistical probability. It remains the greatest match play accomplishment in golf history. No one has come close to matching it. No one likely ever will. His total professional victories tell an even bigger story. The PGA Tour officially credits him with 44 or 45 wins, ranking him 8th or 9th all time. But this count only includes modern tour events. When historians add international victories and prestigious opens in France, Belgium, and Canada, Hagen's true total reaches approximately 75 wins. He didn't wait for sanctioned events. He went wherever competition and money existed. He barnstormed across America and sailed to Europe, Japan, and Australia. He was golf's first global ambassador. The Western Open provides crucial context for understanding Hagen's true greatness. In the early 20th century, this tournament was considered the second most prestigious event in America. It often featured a stronger field than the PGA Championship itself. Hagen won the Western Open 5 times between 1916 and 1932. Many historians argue these should count as majors. If that adjustment is made, Hagen's major tally rises to 16. That places him virtually equal with Nicklaus and ahead of Woods. The official count of 11 is an understatement of his actual dominance. In 1926, Hagen faced Bobby Jones in a sanctioned 72-hole challenge match. Jones was the greatest amateur golfer of all time, a precision machine who rarely made mistakes. The sporting world expected a close contest. Hagen demolished him, winning by a margin of 12 and 11. The result sent a message to everyone watching. Jones could shoot the lowest score, but Hagen won the match. There's a difference. Hagen's greatness on the course gave him the platform to change golf off it. The sports class system was rigid and cruel. Professionals were forbidden from entering clubhouses at elite tournaments. They changed shoes in sheds or their cars. They ate outside while amateurs celebrated indoors. Hagen refused to accept this. He waged a campaign of glamorous civil disobedience that forced the establishment to bend. The defining moment came at the 1920 Open Championship at Royal Cinque reports in Deal, England. Officials informed Hagen that professionals couldn't use the clubhouse. He responded with theater. He hired a chauffeur-driven limousine and parked it directly in front of the clubhouse entrance. He transformed the car into his personal sanctuary. With the door open for all members to see, Hagen changed his shoes with theatrical flair. Then he had his footmen serve him a gourmet lunch of cucumber sandwiches and champagne. This wasn't defiance. It was a statement. By displaying wealth and taste that exceeded club members, Hagen shattered their illusion of superiority. He embarrassed them by looking down from the leather seat of a Rolls-Royce. He forced the British golfing elite to confront reality. The talent they paid to watch was the true aristocracy of the game, not them. Hagen's charm eventually infiltrated the very circles that tried to exclude him. He cultivated a friendship with the Prince of Wales, who later became King Edward VIII. The prince was a keen golfer who admired Hagen's rebellious attitude. Hagen famously broke royal protocol by calling the heir to the British throne Eddie. On one occasion, a club official tried to bar Hagen from the dining room while he was with the prince. The prince raised his voice and declared, "Stop this nonsense or I'll take the royal out of Royal St. George's." They had their drink. Through friendships like this, Hagen elevated professional golfers from hired help to royal companions. His rebellion extended to America. In 1923, at a tournament in Ohio, officials refused Hagen entry to the locker room. He refused to play until the restriction was lifted. The club relented. The policy changed forever. Gene Sarazen, his contemporary and rival, later said, "All the professionals who have a chance to go after big money should say a silent prayer to Walter Hagen. It was Walter who made professional golf what it is. Every time a modern tour pro walks into a clubhouse or is greeted as a celebrity, they walk through a door Walter Hagen kicked open. No story captures Hagen's duality better than the saga of the missing 1925 Wanamaker Trophy. That year, Hagen arrived at the PGA Championship at Olympia Fields in Chicago as the defending champion. He won the tournament, defeating Bill Melhorn 6-5 in the final. It was his third PGA title. Following the victory, Hagen celebrated with characteristic intensity. The Wanamaker Trophy is massive. It stands 28 inches tall and weighs 27 pounds. It's not something you misplace, but Hagen did. As celebrations moved from the golf course to the nightclubs of Chicago, the trophy became a burden. The prevailing story is that Hagen jumped out of a taxi, eager to join friends at a club. Not wanting to carry the heavy trophy inside, he handed it to the taxi driver with a $5 tip and instructions to deliver it to his hotel. The trophy never arrived. What makes this story uniquely Hagen is his response. He didn't panic or call police. He kept quiet. Then he realized something brilliant. As long as he kept winning, he wouldn't have to return the trophy, so he won the PGA Championship again in 1926, and again in 1927. For 2 years, he showed up without the trophy, offering vague excuses, all while knowing it was lost in Chicago. The scheme collapsed in 1928 when Leo Deagle beat Hagen in the quarterfinals. The PGA demanded the trophy for the new champion. Hagen was forced to confess. The trophy had been missing since 1925. The mystery persisted until 1930. It was discovered in the basement of L.A. Young & Company in Detroit, the manufacturer of Hagen's clubs, sitting in an unmarked crate. The PGA breathed a sigh of relief and commissioned a backup trophy. Hagen's legend grew. He was the man who could win the biggest prize in golf, lose it in a cab, and simply win the tournament again to cover his tracks. Hagen's financial philosophy was dangerous and attractive. He earned $1 million and likely spent $2 million. His spending habits were legendary. He stayed in penthouse suites at the finest hotels. He threw parties that lasted until dawn and paid for everyone. His wardrobe was essential to his brand. He imported silk shirts and had shoes handmade in England. He wore knickers of the finest tweed and introduced the two-tone spectator shoe to golf. He understood he was on stage and dressed like a leading man. Stories of his casual relationship with money are endless. He once won a significant cash prize and immediately spent it on a new Cadillac, trading in his old one that was only months old. He tipped caddies, waiters, and bellhops with outrageous generosity. Everywhere he went, he was treated like royalty because he paid to be treated that way. This wasn't just hedonism, it was armor. By projecting infinite resources and total confidence, he unnerved opponents who counted every penny and practiced every dawn. During his time in Florida at the Jungle Country Club in St. Petersburg, Hagen moved in the same circles as Al Capone. The club was a hotspot for gangsters and celebrities during Prohibition. Historical accounts suggest Hagen, with his relaxed attitude, was unfazed by mobsters. He interacted with Capone's associates naturally. He was the ultimate social chameleon, equally comfortable with British royalty and Chicago underworld bosses. He moved freely through every level of society, at home wherever champagne was cold and stakes were high. While the Ryder Cup bears Samuel Ryder's name, historians often call Walter Hagen its spiritual father. His role went far beyond participation. He was a founding architect of the event's prestige. In 1926, before the official Ryder Cup began, Hagen helped organize an informal match between American and British professionals at Wentworth. This precursor proved the public wanted international team golf. Hagen captained the American side to victory. Although no trophy was presented and the match isn't in official records, it laid the groundwork for the biennial contest. When the Ryder Cup officially launched in 1927 at Worcester Country Club in Massachusetts, Hagen was the obvious choice for captain. competition. He led the United States team for the first 6 competitions from 1927 to 1937. He played in the first 5, compiling a record of 7 wins, 1 loss, and 1 half. His leadership was crucial during the event's fragile early years. The Great Depression and the difficulty of transatlantic travel by sea threatened the competition's survival. Hagen professionalized the team's approach. He demanded the American squad travel in style, stay in the best accommodations, and wear the finest uniforms. He understood that for the Ryder Cup to matter, it had to look like it mattered. His presence guaranteed media coverage. In 1937, he became the first non-playing captain, cementing his role as elder statesman. Under his leadership, the event survived its infancy to become golf's greatest spectacle. Hagen's greatness wasn't built on technical perfection. Compared to the mechanical precision of Bobby Jones or the later mastery of Ben Hogan, Hagen's swing was loose and unorthodox. He had a sway that would horrify modern instructors. He was often wild off the tee, spraying drives into deep, rough, or woods. So how did he win so much? He was the supreme scrambler. Hagen possessed a recovery game that bordered on miraculous. He could hack a ball from a buried lie, hit a high fade around a tree, and land it 4 feet from the cup. His resilience came from a mental framework he called the 7 mistakes philosophy. He famously stated, "I expect to make 7 mistakes around. Therefore, when I make a bad shot, I don't worry about it. It's just one of those 7. This mindset was revolutionary. Most golfers agonize over errors, letting one bad shot compound into disaster. Hagen accepted imperfection as inevitable. When he hit a terrible drive, he didn't panic. He mentally checked off one of his 7 allowed mistakes and focused on recovery. This made him dangerous. He played without fear. While opponents played defensively to avoid errors, Hagen played aggressively, knowing an error wasn't a disaster. This philosophy allowed him to pull off miraculous shots under pressure, demoralizing opponents who had played perfect golf only to end up with the same score. Hagen was also a master of psychological warfare. On the first tee of major tournaments, he would survey the field of nervous competitors, silence the crowd, and ask loudly, "Well, who's going to be second?" This wasn't just arrogance, it was tactical. By framing the tournament as a race for second place, he asserted dominance before a ball was struck. He forced opponents to think about him while he thought only about winning. So how great was Walter Hagen, really? If greatness is measured by trophies, he's an all-time legend with 11 majors, third behind only Nicklaus and Woods. If greatness is measured by dominance in a format, his 22-match winning streak in PGA Championship match play will likely never be broken. He was the first American to win the British Open, paving the way for American dominance globally. But if greatness is measured by impact, by how one person changed the trajectory of a sport, Hagen has no equal. Before Hagen, professional golfers were club makers and instructors. After Hagen, they were touring athletes and entertainers. He created the job description that Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy fulfill today. He created the market for professional golf. The prize money, endorsements, and respect modern players enjoy are dividends of the capital Hagen accumulated, both social and financial. He was also golf's first global ambassador. He played exhibitions in Europe, Japan, and Australia, expanding the game's footprint beyond country clubs. He proved professional golf could be a spectacle worth paying to see. He was Barnum and Bailey rolled into one, arriving in limousines, wearing immaculate tailoring, and treating every shot with theatrical gravity. Walter Hagen was a comet across the 20th century sporting sky. He was a gambler, a drinker, a rebel, and a showman. But above all, he was a winner. He took a game of Scottish shepherds and English lords and turned it into an American profession. He lived fast, played hard, and left the sport richer in every sense than he found it. He once said, "You're only here for a short visit. Don't hurry, don't worry, and be sure to smell the flowers along the way." Walter Hagen didn't just smell the flowers. He planted the garden in which modern golf now plays. He didn't just dominate the game. He invented the life that came with it. Without Walter Hagen, there is no professional tour as we know it. There is no Tiger Woods effect. There is no global golf economy. How great was Walter Hagen, really? Great enough to turn a pastime into a profession and a game into a show. Great enough that every golfer who signs an endorsement deal, stays in a luxury hotel, or walks confidently into a clubhouse owes him a debt. He was the first star of professional golf and the man who made sure he wouldn't be the last.